There's so many.
What?
Okay, one more. Did everyone take the free response for questions 1 and 2 on Friday? Did not. Technically, all we're doing in class is review, so that time could be used to tests, but if you have a question. Question 6 is always on chapter 9, which is AP Classrooms Unit 10. What's the answer to this question? Like, if it was multiple choice, does it converge or diverge? I hear diverge. Oh, you said with a little more conviction. Why? If it was free response, what do you have to say?
Diverges by P series.
Okay. Does this specifically fit the P series pattern?
No.
So I need to use some other tests to then use P series. What do you compare to?
I would compare it to 1/√f.
So do limit comparison. You can make just square root, go over both of them, move the limit inside, and that to show you. Move the limit inside, goes to square root of a half. What does this comparison test tell us?
That 1/√2x plus 5 and 1/√n comparable because of.
All it tells me is exactly what Nick said, is they're comparable. Both functions go to infinity at the same rate. Yes, as a matter of fact, they do. So what? Why did we choose? Why did Gabe pick 1/√n? And so the reason he chose that, as Kelly just said, this diverges by P series. Therefore, what do we know from these two things together? Therefore, both diverge. Yeah? We did this problem before. When it tells you find all the values of x where this converges, what's the one test that you should jump to? Ratio test. So if it asks for the actual values, like what's the interval that works, ratio test. Oops. Doing ratio test, we get that. So what do we do with that?
Plug it into like -1 is less than x.
Okay.
1. That's all right.
So find where that thing, because this is effectively, it's not really what's being multiplied each time, but it's effectively, we're multiplying by 3x each time. And if it really was geometric, squish that. Then are we done? No, Preston, why are we not done?
You're gonna test the.
Test the endpoints, which means take negative 1/3, plug it in for X, and take positive 1/3 and plug it in for X. So we get that we're testing these guys, and I do something, I wrote the answer wrong. Positive 1/3 does not work. Interesting. Cool. So the negative 1/3, we ended up with alternating series. And I don't think this would get full credit as written. But state out the conditions for alternating series. So it works for a negative 1/3, but doesn't work for positive 1/3. Remember any of this? Bad memory yet.
You need to say that it converges conditionally or just
Um,
so that it converges?
Okay, so it depends on what it is. Like the multiple choice, they'll often give you, here's A, B, and C. Which of these converge absolutely or conditionally? So I'm trying to remind you that this one's a conditional. Yeah. With your group, can you guys try this free response question? The next test that's coming up for you guys is the multiple choice with calculator. If you haven't done it already, you should do the 2008 multiple choice with calculator that's posted and come in with questions, and we'll go over that tomorrow. But then next Wednesday is free response 3 and 4. There's usually something 3 months on like, yeah.
Do the free response questions get harder than the multiple choice?
1 and 2 that they are calculator, generally one of them is chapter 10 topic. 3 and 4, well, 3, 4, 5, someone's gonna have fundamental theorem of calculus in, because the word fundamental. Yeah, so that's gonna be in there somewhere, and I don't know, depends on where your weakness is. So they're all hard, some of them are more straightforward than others. So talk about the problem, give it a try.
So, should our points be 1 or 5, right? And then we just have to.
I should be able to do 5.8.
All right, so we could keep going. 1 plus 2 times 3.5 plus 2 times. Does anyone think f of 6 could be 7? Plus, no. 5.8.
Which one is that? Think about how many people live this by 2 because you're only 6.
20 plus 7
And then with the one.
plus 126
Question about the earlier problem.
11.6.
I could one you would make them make it 7. And then maybe it's 1.7.
Zero.
And then 2 times 5.8.
5.6.
Okay, yeah.
38.
I think
42, yeah. now,
X,
we determine whether the actual value.
That's like, so does it say that they won't? Oh, it's plus 20 now. Oh, wait,
Well, hold on, let's say every single one of these was seven.
But I don't know what ever
And it just fucks around between.
No, it is 7, 7, 7, 7, 7 for 6. 6 times 7, 42 plus 20, 62. Less than 70. Not possible. Think about it. The slope of 0.
Why would it even be air? Because it's like, can it be 7?
Oh no, not slope of 0. Everything's increasing. Like at prime is increasing with constant slope of 7.
No, yeah.
Oh, yeah, because it's the highest slope.
If it's angle, it gives
So
us
7
X
times
best,
6
not
would
X
be
best. Yeah, but it does say
Yeah,
X
so
best.
it's less than 7, so it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Dude,
But
does
then
it
the
trap?
initial value would be 20 plus 20.
Well, it doesn't, no. It's saying all of us, with these numbers, it's not even possible.
I think you should, because like you said.
No, yeah, all we have to do is say 7. 7 is
Like,
not
maximum value is 7. So what if you use that for maximum value? Use the first.
Because what if it's like 5.5?
Like X.
We don't know that.
It kind of feels
No,
like
we know that at prime of X
I feel like
is
it's
only
like,
between 0 and 7. We know it states it is between 0 and 7. It can't be above 7, it can't be below 6.
No, yeah, what if it's like 5.5? What if you think every number should went up?
It can't.
Why?
Because the maximum number at prime is 7. Well, think about it. If it's no,
It's saying that
Start with the initial value.
between 0 and 7 is the
Yeah.
Numbers that we don't.
I'm saying,
I know, so that's. No, but I'm saying like, if you like the error.
I'm saying my question is if max
I don't think that's not serious.
The largest significant possibly be.
Oh, we're just doing
The
whether it's
integral
up
of
or
what?
7 times.
If you just assume it's 7 the entire time.
I feel like we did over it. I think I should be part of the team.
Yeah, if it does shoot up to like 7.
But I thought it was whether it was
Exactly.
well, it's just like if it's on.
No, I
How does that help at all?
Also, I think the second one
None of that matters. What matters is that.
No, this table is F prime. This table is F prime. You're adding up the
No.
Okay. Yeah.
it's asking, well, that's if I saw the value.
No, you can't do that because the slope cannot be 0 to It can't be higher than 7.
Yeah, the integral between form at that prime is F free time.
All that matters is that the math itself doesn't.
I still don't
Wait, this is literally.
Oh, that's like derivative of.
Okay, the integral
Or integral of
of
derivative is
double
just
prime
like
of X.
original function, right? So
At prime 4 minus F prime. Fundamental.
Wait, how did you?
That's the other one. No, this is F double prime. Integral of F double prime. F prime. So that's from F prime. So F prime 4 minus F prime.
Oh.
And then Yeah, it's easy.
Is this, is C not just?
Seven, 31 is big, so it has to be increased. Can you just?
Does it have like a?
Yeah, that's what I did, and I said, yeah, that's what I did, and I said, 62 is 77.
Are we still on this?
What is it? I'm on D.
Yeah, what is D?
Just plug it in. Oh, wait.
Okay, I
That's
got
a
it.
zero and
Yeah,
one.
no,
Yeah,
yeah.
no.
20,
Yeah.
zero.
Yeah, but it's gonna be 20.
Okay.
Oh, so that's just gonna be, that's gonna be 0 to 0, so we have to
Oh,
do
yeah.
all of it. And so that's line is
Minus 20.
4, so.
And then over 0.5
So that I have to do.
Yeah,
Oh.
We're gonna do some calculus stuff.
That's the concept of X.
No, because e to the 0 equals 0. And then e to the 0.
Over 25.
Those kind of questions.
Yeah, so then
You're totally good at
over 0.5 times 0 over 2.
Yeah, I'm
That's
fine.
negative.
That would be great.
All right, what do you need?
Wait time.
On my desk.
Yeah, like you just do F prime.
Oh, for C? Think of it, what's the fundamental, one of the fundamental theorems of calculus is
I just got two.
the derivative
Yeah, can you do F
is
prime minus F prime?
is the like original.
Because-
So the integral of F double
Just
prime.
assuming that it would be like the integral of F double prime to F prime of X.
1.7.
Then I just plugged in F prime
Yeah.
for it. I just found F prime for it.
And then for T, you plug in 0, you get 20
You don't
minus
have to be
20.
I believe you. It would be up 0.
Yeah, so that's 0
The
to 0.
derivative of F it would be times 0, so you can
I got negative 16. I think to do
And I only, we only do that when you have the
Yeah.
X on the top, so that we can then you plug in extra.
Therefore, I
function,
use
geometric function, you take the integral of like FT.
I don't give you credit.
How do you do that? I think it's just F4 minus F.
Oh, yeah. Dog, it's
No, I
literally
don't
0 to
do
0.
that. Because when you just do the integral, you just do F of X and then you do the line.
Keep running it there.
Oh, yeah, that's what
I did, like my local cost is 4 minus 20 EPS over 0.5.
Oh, right, yeah.
No, not minus 10. The only thing I remember that is like because sorry, I didn't know you were studying. That is it.
Yeah, no, all I ended up having to do was go like, I'm just gonna I'm not bad at the
Yeah.
They require the least, they require the
That's good
least.
then. It's B and
I
that's.
never added up.
We have 75
Oh,
already.
okay.
So, I would not
This motherfucker.
Oh my god. Are you ready? Okay, I didn't take it.
I know, I agree.
So I'm not your class.
I believe I can do
Alright,
Yeah, so
they're sort of done.
okay, well, F, it already said F is 0.
Okay. If you can't figure out any particular one of these, please read through through the rest of them because these are all standalone. So there's no double jeopardy to them. Use midpoint Riemann sum 3 intervals of equal length. Midpoint. Midpoint. Sorry. So you could have had the number 2 factored out, added those 3 things together. This is a non-calculator, so you need to be able to do that. And unfortunate for those of us who are graders, you're allowed to leave it there, and you get the point. As long as it's strictly arithmetic, if there's any function thing that needs to be swapped out, you can't say like f of 2. But if it's all numbers, you can be like, it's just purely elementary, literally elementary school. It's just arithmetic. I will leave it to you, dear grader, to prove that I am not correct. Okay, so, but that's just the integral. It asked to find the value of f of 6. So f of 6 is f of 0 plus the change, well, as it says here. F of 0 plus how much you've changed from 0 to 6 to get f of 6. Yeah.
Did we need to show that middle step to get the point?
No, my work usually starts here on the third one. So you needed to show the midpoint sum, actually, the numbers spelled out, and then one of these 2 lines with the right answer after.
I was just gonna show the midpoint sum, then say we added 20 to it, and then show 40.2.
A lot of stuff passed for showing work on that one. Okay, part B. Alex, what'd you say in this one?
So in the question, it tells us that the slope, so the first derivative can not be higher than 7. So the highest, so the most that f of 6 could be would be 6 times 7 plus f of 0, which is 20, which is 62 and less than 70.
Okay, so he's saying, if you were ignoring the table and you were at the maximum the whole time for the whole interval, pedal to the metal, the most gain you could have had was 42. Starting at your f of 0, 20, add the 42, that's less than 70, so can't do it. Okay? And they like asking questions like that. Show why it can't be this, or why can it be? Yes, Sakili.
Like, I kind of thought of it, it's not as much math, I guess, but it's like, it's concave up, because like the slope is increasing, because like if you find the average.
It doesn't tell you that it's concave up, so you don't know what's going on in between.
Oh, you don't know what's going on in between each value?
Yeah.
Okay, I see.
So they need to make that kind of conclusion, they need to tell you, and it is consistently doing this. Nick, what were you gonna ask?
You don't need to like say anything, right? Like in that answer, it just said, equals 62, and they left it there. You don't need to say it can't be f of 6 cannot be 70, or you don't need to say
It's
because of
safer
this,
to be
or-
like, therefore 62 is the maximum, you can't go over 62. It's safer to say that, they didn't,
Okay.
and it's random when they decided to be picky. This is on there every year where they say, you have a differentiable function, blah, 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 and they're gonna make you use mean value theorem. You need to say, because it's differentiable, it is continuous, and since it's continuous and differentiable, you can apply the mean value theorem, blah, blah, blah. If you say it's differentiable and continuous, you lose the point. So, every year, you'll have to say, since you told me it's differentiable, I know it's continuous. Because it's continuous, I can use intermediate value theorem, mean value theorem, whatever. They will get you. What's the integral? Josh, I think I heard you saying this one. What's the integral of the double derivative?
That's just f prime of 4 minus f prime of 2.
The first derivative.
Yeah.
So the integral of double derivative is first derivative evaluated at 4 minus evaluated at 2. And again, you can't stop here, but you can stop there. Once it's all just numbers, elementary school arithmetic, you can stop. And this is fundamental theorem of calculus. It's hopefully not hard. And the last one, plugging in 0. Do we know what f of 0 is? Gotta read the problem again. F of 0 is 20. 20 minus 20, I get 0. And on the bottom, it looks like, what do we gotta do? L'Hopital's. And check it out, how they insist you write stuff. Sorry, touching the board in a weird way. I warned you guys when we were in this chapter, they are not kidding that they want to see the numerator pulled out all by itself with its own little limit as x goes to 0, and that you say, I've evaluated this numerator and it's 0. And that you pull the denominator out all by itself and say it is also 0. Now L'Hopital's applies, do the derivative of the top over the derivative of the bottom, and then plug in. Now it's just numbers. Here's your answer. But you need to do that tediousness of pulling those things out. This is in exchange for being allowed to leave arithmetic barf. You need to do these things. Cool? So there's
Sorry, is there any that you could leave it like before the 90 that you could just left it like that?
you could have left it like that. But you can't, despite harping on this in class, a lot of you did this. That doesn't count. You gotta do the top all by itself with its own little limit, numbers and everything, proper notation. Okay? Comments, questions, issues? Other nemesis. There's often initial value problems, things like that. This is a problem 5. Problem 5 that has some of chapter 9 on it. It happened some years, I would know that, in the 2022 year, because it happened to someone. Zoe, yeah.
What is size? Huh? What is size?
No.
So you're
Like the duty.
What are you saying?
Okay, bottom.
Are we doing another one?
How much you break down myself?
Minus.
You have what your YDX is, so you just plug it in.
Okay, I got no. For well, let's do derivatives. Yeah.
Well, you have to find what x and then divide by that.
Okay, you can still split it up and then you can do
It's an initial value.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Wait, no, this is on this like.
No. What? Huh? What? No, it is like A?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm yeah.
What are you doing?
Derivative of -1, 0.
Oh shit, that's a -1?
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter, it's 0.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, what's the derivative of y squared over x?
But I just really
And 2x y squared. Oh, yeah, 2xy d squared y. Minus y squared. Y dy.
And then you plug in the
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Over-
Makes it easier. 2xy times.
Oh,
Are you saying
that was
2xy is
so-
x2?
How did you see that?
It doesn't, it has 2xy in the right there, so that's what I'm doing.
I'm putting x2 by dx.
Y I'm making it look like the answer.
Like legitimate. Oh, actually, caffeine bros, the answer to your problem, I'm telling you. I don't know. I don't use caffeine. Unless the answer is that it doesn't.
Can I see your words?
Y cubed minus Great, I got it.
Oh shit. That's how they got that. dydx is the actual equation.
Oh, we plug it back.
Oh, I want to, guys, I have a fire idea, hear me out. We can all make it one thing by having like x over x. I think you have to, like, you have to do it. And it just so it says divided into one. Like, I think you have to multiply, make like
Yeah,
-1, and then it's easier.
You can make y squared over x minus
2xy or 2yx times -1.
We just watched.
You said
Straight to 2x.
You said what?
So it's just 2y cubed.
Yeah.
So I think you have to plug in the cube and plus c once you integrate it.
Okay, my bad.
Confusing.
Sorry.
You have to separate the variable, integrate it, you'll have a plus c, and then you plug in the initial value, right? That makes sense, but.
No, that makes sense.
Oh my god.
It's what?
Oh my god.
Doesn't that just mean that
There is a critical.
Doesn't that just mean
I'm
that
doing
the
B
prime
right.
of x is 1? Yeah, I don't know if this is a.
I got like the
I think
first
it's
part.
I think whether or not it's
X
plus.
times
No, I think you're right. I think
ydx
it's
minus
integrated.
y squared.
Well, you're integrating it just, it's still a,
Plugged in.
yeah, it's
No,
still
it's just
a.
area that whenever we work.
You just plug in the initial question, you have to figure out what c is, and then plug it into.
Yeah, I plugged in the original.
Yeah, I thought that has a critical.
Yeah.
It does have a
Basically,
critical.
I think you
math.
figure your c value is by using that. And
Yeah.
then you plug in for
Oh,
your.
you integrate to find the actual y equal.
Oh, I see. Just plug forward.
Okay.
Wait, that's what I was going for. That's y squared plus y equals 0, dy equals 1 over x.
And plug for it.
Yeah, I know. I think you add it to one side.
No, you
No. You plus more.
Yeah.
You can. With respect to what? You want. So then what happens to that? It's yes. No, you can't do that. No, you can't.
Do we have to just find two?
No, you just multiply by x, we get
Yo,
y over dx
Bro, you're
times x plus x
Bro.
equals y squared.
Is anyone plugged in the point in the
All
double
you
derivative?
gotta do is
No.
plug in the point.
Oh, no, I did, sorry.
Okay, what is it?
Wait, the double derivative?
Yes. To find out whether it's.
Yeah, okay.
Y and it equals 0, we can see that's it.
Yes, but then is it a max or is it a min?
So plug in.
Just plug in other numbers.
Camden, shut up. What are the other numbers? Camden, shut up. No, it's not because it's Camden, shut up. If you just plug 4 to, we're just talking about y.
Just the y. It's saying, does y have a, does y, does g of x have a min or a max, not g prime? Not dy squared.
Yeah.
Alright, y'all look at
Concave. Wait. What?
Find the concavity. If it's concave down and there's a critical point there, it's a max. Oh shit, you're right. Jesus.
So then it's.
Okay, oh, we got is. I'm gonna smack you. This is what I've been saying for 10 minutes.
I guess. Would you
Damn.
Oh, but the reason we have y equals so then we can plug 4 into
evaluated
the
at
original.
was it 4 times 4 times 4 is 16?
Oh, wait, no, that's
You get 2 equals -1 times y Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh, what
Times 16, the value of
Okay.
we can figure out how to
Okay.
minus 4.
I mean, I separated them.
I think it's that last year.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, negative 1
So it's
times.
coming back.
Why?
So dy dx there is 0, so it is the first point. And
So it's
Yeah.
like this.
we already did that.
No, it's just saying it's negative at that point. Saying at that point is not
Minus
negative.
four
No, this doesn't make sense.
No.
Yes, it's
No, it also shows you if it's a min or max.
Ow.
Okay, no, so we know that the double derivative is decreasing it that way, right?
Yeah.
So we know that the derivative is going like this crosses 4 towards 0.
Oh my god, wait, we can do this.
Okay, so this is positive to negative.
So let's do first.
-1/4. So it's negative.
No, it's a max.
Yes, yes, yes.
That's what I was saying.
And it's
Wait, no, don't we still need the first thing?
It's a relative max.
It's maybe the first one.
Oh, I'm kind of, because I'm doing it
We
in
need
my
F
head.
of X. We have F
You get
of
that.
X.
He's kind of not doing it.
Yeah, F of X should be.
Calm it down.
That's why I don't understand the way
I got negative 1, but yeah, I got
how we use
Okay.
With the reasoning that provided.
I don't want to do this.
Oh, the Taylor polynomial.
Right, that's
It's like the second, it's like the.
Oh wait, no, that's easy. That's easy. Yeah. Integrate and then yes, integrate to find the original value.
We were given the original value.
Okay, so you got two plus.
Oh, that's the double, that derivative at the thing.
The derivative at the thing.
And because we know the first derivative and we know the second derivative,
About X
we
equals
go
one, yeah.
to the second degree.
So then, what the fuck is, what is y plugged into that X?
You are being recorded. Thought I'd toss that out there.
2 plus 3 times x minus 1.
Oh, it's only a
Negative
second.
1, oh yeah.
What is 2 over 8 times x minus 1?
F of n
After that, we just have H.
Yeah.
So we just need to find the
Yeah, we found it.
Alright. We don't
Yeah, so
have
then-
much time left, so I wanna go over it. Alright, don't have the work shown. So, implicit differentiation, are you guys okay with this? Actually, the big reason to do this one. The double derivative, -1 goes away. Why is this a challenge? How do I do the derivative of that? Quotient rule, okay. Mister, I don't need to write things down. Bring it on.
It's x times 2y dy over dx minus y squared times dx over dx, so it's y squared over x squared. Right?
So times 1,
Times
and then the whole thing over the denominator squared. Okay. Next step to cleaning it up. Grady, what do we do?
Which problem?
After this part.
You plug in dy dx, so that should give you 2xy times -1 plus 2xy times y squared over x. And then that.
Over, like, okay. I see what you did. I would multiply by x over x and reduce stuff. And clean things up, and you will get there eventually, and you do need to show the pieces. But I want to do the other parts. The particular solution, can we actually find the answer? Can we integrate this, separate the variables? No, because that -1 there is just in the way. So how do I figure out if this thing has a relative maximum, minimum, or neither? We've asked this a bunch of times. Brady, what do you think?
But can't you just multiply by dx?
No. Because it's addition.
Okay, if you multiply by dx,
So it's just
how do I get y squared out there?
right.
Okay, but back to the question, how do you, what has to be true if there is a maximum or a minimum? So the first derivative has to be 0 at the coordinate that I am asking about. So what is dy dx at the coordinate 4, 2?
0.
It is 0. So -1 plus 2 squared over 4 squared, -1 plus 1 is 0. So there is a critical point. The first derivative at that specific spot was 0. And the reason they didn't have you just derive the second derivative, they show you what it is because if you don't get part A right, you can still use this in part B. Which is a big hint. Martin said you need to check that the second derivative, what its value is. So what is the second derivative at 4, 2? Positive or negative overall?
Negative.
don't actually have to give a number, you can just say, the second derivative there is 0, therefore concave down. Concave down. So that critical point's going to be max.
Okay, what is the temperature you're talking about? Is that,
Psych.
yeah, what the fuck?